Welcome back, dear viewers of Mr. Magazine, the channel where the pulse of celebrity stories beats a little faster, a little louder, and always with a touch of cinematic intrigue. Before we dive into today's extraordinary and emotionally charged report, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and especially tap the join button to support our growing community. Now settle in, because what unfolded last night around two of the most captivating names in Turkish entertainment has left an entire nation holding its breath. It began like any ordinary return flight, routine, predictable, even uneventful. After completing a project abroad, Barış Arduç landed at Istanbul airport with the familiar fatigue of someone who had spent hours drifting through airspace and foreign time zones. His steps carried that slow, loose posture travelers adopt when they believe the day is finally winding down. Little did he know that within minutes, the night would turn into anything but quiet. The moment his phone reconnected to the network, an incoming call shattered the comfortable stillness around him. Those who witnessed the shift say they could almost feel the moment reality snapped. 1 second he was ambling through the arrivals hall, and the next he was locked in on his phone, body tensing as the words on the other end of the line changed the entire direction of his night. The message was simple yet devastating. Elçin Sangu had been taken to the hospital following a sudden and concerning medical episode. From that instant onward, his demeanor transformed completely. Observers described it as watching someone age and ignite at the same time. His steps sharpened, his attention narrowed, and the carefully maintained facade of composure dissolved into raw urgency. Fans waiting near the barriers recognized him, some even calling out his name, but he did not pause. He didn't take a photo. He didn't smile. He didn't even glance sideways. The only thing he acknowledged was the tremor in his chest and the information coming through his phone like a warning siren. As he hurried toward the parking area, his assistant struggled behind him, nearly jogging to keep up. One of Barış's hands clutched his phone so tightly it was as if he feared the lifeline might fall away, the other pressed briefly against his sternum, a gesture that betrays a kind of inward collapse. When the vehicle finally arrived, he swung into the back seat with no hesitation, his voice slicing through the air in a tone more intense than anyone had ever heard from him. "Take me to the hospital, now." And just like that, the car bolted away from the airport. Throughout the drive, Barış remained tethered to his phone, contacting his manager, a couple of close confidants, and more than one mutual friend. Some moments he fired rapid-fired questions, whether she was conscious, whether her condition had worsened, whether anyone had reached the doctors yet. Other moments he sat in a silence so heavy it bent the energy inside the car. The only words he offered at intervals were sharp fragments. "I'm almost there." Dear viewers, while you're watching, don't forget, drop a comment below telling us which celebrities you'd like to see featured in our next report. And of course, don't forget to hit that like button to support Mr. Magazine. By the time the car screeched toward the hospital's emergency entrance, the night had transformed into a frenzy. Somehow, news had already begun circulating online that Elçin Sangu had been admitted, and a crowd had started forming outside. The scene resembled the early moments of a media storm, reporters balancing on their toes for better angles, camera flashes tearing through the darkness, and strangers murmuring theories as they pressed closer to the doors. Security stepped in quickly, aware of both the celebrity presence in the building and the potential chaos that could be sparked by even the smallest misunderstanding. Yet despite their attempts, the electricity of a breaking story has a way of slipping between barriers. Through that shifting crowd, Barış marched with unwavering purpose. He ignored the barrage of shouted questions, the speculation hanging in the air, and the journalists trying to read his expression. His only destination was the reception desk. Witnesses described him as a man carved out of tension, his voice controlled, his posture taut, his eyes carrying more weight than words could express. He spoke firmly but quietly with the staff, demanding clarity yet doing so with the politeness of someone whose panic had been forced into a corner. They told him what little they could. Tests were underway, no definitive answers yet. The doctors were evaluating her condition. It was the kind of response that offers no comfort, only more time to worry. Outside, however, comfort wasn't part of the equation. Fans began sharing videos of his frantic appearance at the airport, blurry clips of him rushing through the hospital doors, and bits of whispered information from anyone who claimed to know something. Soon the online world was blazing with one phrase: Boris didn't leave Elçin alone. The hashtag #BorisElçin climbed the trending list so quickly that even casual observers couldn't ignore the storm. Inside the hospital, the tension intensified. People who saw him said he drifted between two modes, speaking directly with the medical team when called upon, and standing alone near a corridor that led deeper into the treatment area. He stayed near the entrance at times like a sentinel waiting for a message that could redefine the night. His concern, fully visible now, reignited discussions that had been simmering for months. Were they simply friends? Former colleagues with lingering fondness? Or was the bond forging itself into something deeper, something that neither had officially acknowledged but everyone suspected? As the night stretched, details began to surface about Elçin's day. She had reportedly felt waves of weakness, bouts of lightheadedness, and enough discomfort to warrant a precautionary checkup. But the words sudden illness strike the public like a spark dropped in dry grass. They flare fast, and they burn unpredictably. And the fact that Boris's reaction had been so visceral only fueled speculation further. Was the situation routine? Or were the two of them protecting more private truths from curious eyes? While you take in the intensity of this unfolding story, let me pause for a moment. Here at Mr. Magazine, we bring you every angle, every emotion, every moment. So make sure you subscribe for all breaking updates, and don't hesitate to tap that join button to support our channel. Hours rolled by, but calm never arrived. Even after Boris had spoken once more with the medical staff, the message remained the same: tests ongoing, doctors evaluating, no final answers yet. It was a night built entirely from questions and silence. And silence, as it often does, became the foundation for endless online speculation. People wondered aloud whether the truth was being softened, whether the situation was more severe than anyone was saying, or whether something had triggered her illness beyond mere exhaustion. Eventually, after a series of short, hushed conversations with the medical team, Boris was permitted to visit her room. Those who witnessed this moment described it with reverence. He walked the quiet hallway with a gravity that made everything else fade around him. He wasn't entering as a celebrity. He wasn't entering as a public figure. His steps carried the weight of something far more personal. Minutes turned into an hour. Then an hour stretched further. He remained inside, undisturbed, unbothered by cameras, unreachable to the crowd outside craving a statement. There were no theatrics, no performances, only presence. And that presence sent social media spinning in new directions. Rumors became declarations, theories transformed into confident assumptions. If there had ever been doubts about what he felt, they seemed to dissolve in that single gesture. Outside, tabloids scrambled for any scrap of information. New angles emerged. One person claimed he'd received the call before he even stepped off the jet bridge, another insisted he'd contacted 3 different people before reaching the terminal exit. Every version carried the same truth at its core: Boris acted with an immediacy that could only stem from genuine concern. As the night deepened, the city's collective attention honed in on one question. What caused her sudden collapse? Without an official explanation, people did what people always do: they filled the void with empathy, with fear, with curiosity, with hope. Fan accounts shared their favorite scenes of the duo, clips of interviews where they laughed like old friends, and messages wishing strength to them both. The sentiment echoed across every platform. He didn't leave her side. Inside the hospital, Boris stayed within a small orbit, doctor, nurse, door, bedside. He wasn't there to be seen, he was there to stay. Whether their bond is friendship, something deeper, or simply a connection forged through years of shared work, one thing became impossible to deny: whatever they are to each other, it matters. And it mattered deeply last night. Eventually, the darkness outside began to soften into early morning light, but no concrete update had yet been released. Journalists remained stationed outside, fans refreshed their feeds endlessly, and the entertainment industry held its breath for a single line, the line that would release the tension sprawling across the city. She has been discharged and is recovering. Until that message arrives, only one certainty remains. When the call came, he ran. Not for attention, not for headlines, but because something inside him recognized the gravity instantly. And now, dear viewers of Mr. Magazine, we'll continue monitoring the situation closely. The moment a verified update is released by the hospital, you will hear it here first. Make sure you subscribe, leave your thoughts below. Do you believe their bond is purely friendship, or is there something deeper beneath the surface? And tap the join button to support us as we bring you the stories that move the nation. Thank you for watching Mr. Magazine. Until the next update, stay safe, stay curious, and stay tuned.